everyone, to another edition of the Wrestling Underground podcast. I am your host, as always, Chet Porto, and joining me is the glorious one himself, Marcus Green. Marcus, it's Tuesday. It's the day we talk about wrestling. How is the day going?
A little rainy, a little thundery, but that never stopped. That never stopped us. Looking forward to these topics.
What you just described is my favorite kind of day. Well, technically second favorite kind of day. First favorite kind of day, epic snowfall. Love it. Love it. Now, as a Louisianian, I think that's right. That's probably not right. That's probably not right at all. If you've seen snow, it's more than likely just been a slight little powder. But I'm telling you, when you get enough snow where you can literally build forts in your yard.
Oh man.
Mwah.
I gotta say, I've always wanted over the last decade. We've had some maybe every other year, a little powder here and there. Never what you're talking to what you get, obviously, because I don't envy anybody who has to shovel their driveway, at all. But yeah, man, the fresh powder. I never diss cold weather because it keeps all manner of wildlife and nature away. So
That's one of the reasons. So the big two reasons why I love snow. Three. One, it's beautiful looking. I love it. It has this very quiet, very slow, very everything's moving at a very understandable pace to it. I like that it's very somber, very very nice. Two, I run hot. I don't know why. 75, I'm sweating. 85, I'm wanting death. 95, I'm skinning. I'm literally just a skeleton in a chair, just like laughing, because it's too goddamn hot. The third reason, I fucking hate bugs. Fucking hate them.
God, man.
I'm fine with all the rabbits and the deers, and you want to eat my plants, fine, fuck off, whatever. But I fucking hate bugs. I'm sure they have a purpose. I know they do. Circle of life and yada yada yada. I've seen The Lion King. But fuck them.
I'm right there with you, man. We protest the bug community. 100%, man. Like this. They just like then the a-holes are like a BS committee where they all like, oh, it's time to come out again. Like, no. Oh, it's like you can't go to the store and get like a kill all for all of them. You got to get it's a spray for this one, a spray for that one. You got to apply this one there, this one there. Jesus.
You can't kill that one because it's endangered, and if you kill that one, then the birds will go in. It's like, god damn it.
Around here, man, it's like it's wasps, it's bees, it's these random ant piles that pop up. It's the freaking mosquitoes. It's just like, you know what? This is why I'm a freaking recluse. I don't like to go outside now. It's like this.
I can just imagine 8-year-old Marcus, the friends of Marcus, that crew, the friends of Marcus, FOM. The FOM crew come by, they knock. Mrs. Green, can Marcus come out to play? And you just see Marcus like pull back the shade of the living room, go, no! And then sits back down to play his game. Marcus, all the friends just kind of congregate around Marcus's room because Marcus is the quote unquote kid in the window, and they can't go anywhere else because Marcus can only be in that one window. And all he does is chastise them for being around bugs.
It was like, man, COVID's gone, but West now still exists.
Have you ever dealt with 6 mosquito bites on your foot before? I have, Duncan. I have. Duncan's just sitting there like wide-eyed, like, why is he screaming at me? Mom! I don't know why you have a friend named Duncan. Just Zach, I guess there it is. I don't know.
They're just like, have you ever danced with a grasshopper in the pale moonlight?
You want to get stung? Come on! Let's get stung. All right, so we got some topics tonight. First and foremost, Bryan Danielson. We're not going to use. I don't want to use like inappropriate terms. You know me. I'm not very woke, but I am a respectful human being. At least I try to be. So I don't want to use a term like quote unquote slave name in a inopportune or inappropriate way. Because that's a really big fucking deal, right? Like that's a real issue to worry about. I mean, not anymore, but back when. But it's good to have him away from that corporate name. No longer will he be Daniel Bryan, hopefully. Now, he's human. I don't know what his standards are, Marcus. I don't know what he believes. I don't know what his foundation is behind, other than he likes veganism and planting trees and shit. I know for me, I'm not easily bought and paid for. I don't know if he is, but we know most of the roster is. Hi, Cesaro. How you doing?
Hey, Ziggy, man.
Right? Like, all right, you want to shell out and get that, 900,000, 1.2 million contract? Fine. That's fine. But don't complain about your fucking shitty career when it's over, because I'm just going to be like, I hope it was worth it. And I think Bryan Danielson, I think he knows. He's like, man, I have nothing to show for the last 8 years of my career. My WrestleMania moment was just them remaking Chris Benoit's. Daniel Bryan, the remake.
Yeah, somebody argue the greatest thing the company ever gave him was his spouse.
and I don't want to be disparaging of someone's spouse, but man, if the Bellas are like the peak of your spousedom, at least Brie's not as vapid and self-centered as her sister. At least that's something. Although Brie is probably a raging alcoholic. I mean, she has a literal term for her drinking. That's not normal. That's like having like a term for your sex life. Like, I don't know, man. If you gotta name it and label it something else than what it is,
let's see.
You might have a problem.
Allegedly alcoholic hippie marries a vegan minimalist.
God, is that like a TLC show?
I feel like that's the evolution of hoarders.
It's the anti-hoarders. Daniel, yes, Brie. Our child needs food. Take it from the ground. It's the middle of a drought. Take it from the ground. There's no plant. Take it from the ground. Can we go to the store? Hell no. We don't buy into capitalism. Oh, Daniel Bryan. Well, he's free. We don't know if he's going back to the WWE. If it's anyone else, you could argue, well, maybe he's just waiting for a better deal. I don't think that's the case here. I think he is seriously considering leaving because this isn't the first time we've heard conversations of him wanting to leave. I think it was 2018. He was talking about wanting to go down to Arena, Mexico and wrestle down there and go to Japan. And I think for him, that's a schedule he would more prefer to have, especially when you realize that the WWE is getting close to running shows again on the road. I don't think Danielson wants to go out and do house shows anymore. Who wants to wrestle 5, 6, 7 times a week? No one. I wouldn't. I would rather get paid for one day's work that, in totals all 7 days, than actually have to work all 7 days to get that pay. Like, if you give me $1,000 for doing 1 day's worth of work, and I don't need to do the other 6, I'm going to take that deal. And I think he can get something like that on the indies. AEW is going to offer a lot of money. Impact's going to offer a lot of money. I'm sure Ring of Honor is going to offer something. Ring of Honor's been able to afford a lot of talent lately, so they've, kind of unloosened the purse strings, if you will. New Japan can offer a lot of money. But maybe he doesn't want to work for any of them. Maybe he's like, hey, Total Pro Wrestling Slamdom in Topeka, that's my jam, because he's a weird dude. I'm a weird dude. I know my own. You're not always motivated by money or fame. Maybe it's the opportunity, the experience. Who knows what's going to be his driving force? But if he is actually a free agent, as was reported, this is a game changer for a company. If you're Impact and you can sign Bryan Danielson, holy shit. I don't care if he's 40 and has a neck as strong as a pencil. I'm going all in. Maybe he can be Perk Danielson.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, it's, pretty sure people didn't see Christian going to in AEW either. But, if, that Rumble appearance he had, which was great because it tied into the whole Edge thing of it all. and it was just cool to see him back in general. If that was just gonna be a one-off and they weren't gonna let him do nothing else, and he, know he got a little bit more in the tank, as potentially a final run. I mean, he had to kind of go into business for himself and say, "Look, man, I can do this, but I got to do it somewhere else." That's just what it got to be. And I think Bryan, I mean, look, he's mad. He's been around, the world and yah in terms of wrestling. He had his mania moment. Faced off with some of the greats, been in the ring, some of the greats, even if he hasn't faced off with them. And I mean, look, I'm pretty sure he's looking at it like, I only got so many more notches on my bump card left. I'm getting older. I'm a father of two now. There's other things he probably can and wants to do, and he just kind of sees this as, if I'm gonna go out, I gotta go out on my own terms, and uh, so yeah, like you said, man, it's a rare opportunity for some company. Hopefully, we may see him closer to, stuff like Impact. We might hit a Ring of Honor. They're not in the space they were a year and a half ago, thankfully. But hell, this might be a chance for him to go to New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. I mean, obviously things are mildly opening back up now, so who knows? Maybe it might be AEW. I wouldn't want to see it because obviously, like we just got through talking about hoarders. But like you said, it's up to him. So but I didn't see it coming. I thought he kind of might let things wind down in WWE, but he's never been one of those guys that's ever been phased by that system and got comfortable in it. He's always kind of tried to dictate his own pace. And I greatly respect him for that. He's a lot like Punk in that way. So, even though he's been there for years and probably made butt tons of money, he still has, the wherewithal and the balls to walk away, because it don't, whatever they serving is not serving him anymore. So, kudos to him. It's just gonna be interesting to see where he lands, because, like you said, that's a game changer. Like, obviously, Punk's been looming for the last however many years over everybody's radar, but that's kind of more of a, almost like a fantasy at this point, just because of where he's at. But Bryan is more, closer to home in terms of, like, he really could land somewhere besides WWE and like mean it, not be like, I'm gonna just coast in this company till I, break something and have to retire. Like, so.
Here's the Booker T dish of the night. Can you dig it? So, interesting side note: Christian Cage is the same age Sting was when Sting debuted in Impact back in 2006.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So the whole he only has so many bumps. No, maybe not. He might be around for another 14 years. I mean, Sting's still going at what, 63? Who knows? 62, whatever he is. Who knows?
Yeah, but Sting's still going. It's like, give me this cinematic match. I'm gonna grab something. I'm gonna swing it at people, and I'm gonna let that young kid that like to damn near kill himself handle all the rest.
True, and who knows? Maybe that can be Christian in 15 years, if he's lucky. The other thing of interest to kind of point out that I would like to see, Samoa Joe makes his return to Impact at Slammiversary and, like, set up to the main event. Like, Joe just comes out in like a little segment. He's like, this is my division now, or my company now. And like as he's about to walk out, Bryan Danielson just walks out and stares at Joe, smiling like, "Oh, really? Well, I guess we gonna see about that." And he just kind of saunters off in his vegan sandals. I would love to see that. I would just more. All right. Speaking of other things I'd like to see, Marcus. Selena De La Renta. How you doing? It's nice to meet you. I'm single, ready to mingle. Unfortunately for MLW fans, she is gone from the company. So long, Evitason, farewell. She apparently left to go on to try other things, and I think she wants to do more wrestling in other companies. Maybe she wants to do some acting work, who knows. The other thing that kind of stands out about what happened with De La Renta is she was essentially replaced by El Jefe, a.k.a. one Dario Cueto. They're really going hard into the Azteca Underground angle. And I don't know if they intend on making that a second show in its own, but that would be very interesting. And I think losing De La Renta is not going to help because she's been there since the relaunch of the company, or at least right after the relaunch of the company. Because she was the manager of Loki when he was the world champion, and I think he won the world championship 3 years ago, and I think he was the second champion of the relaunch era. So she's been around for a bit, and she was one of the big reasons to tune in for the show. I'm excited to see where she goes. Obviously, I hope it's not WWE or AEW because, like, one, I don't watch out of the company. Two, when are you going to get airtime? You just can't keep signing everyone when you only have one show anyone ever watches. So I think for me, MLW, Ring of Honor, Impact, or somewhere else, it would be a nice place for her to end up, especially Impact, because obviously I watch Impact a lot. But getting Dario Cueto is a huge coup because he's one of the few guys from the Lucha Underground era that never went anywhere. He unlike guys like Pentagon and Macias, who's now in MLW, you had Phoenix. Most of those dudes went somewhere. Not Cueto. So, Marcus, we've talked about MLW before. Cueto, do you feel like that's a big get for them? And do you want the Azteca Underground angle to be more than an angle? Do you want it to be its own show, a new company, or just an angle? Thoughts?
Honestly, man, I mean, for as long as I've missed Lucha Underground, I still do. I feel like it's missing even in this current landscape with a whole brand new company in North America and whatnot. It was just a unique slice of pie that blended so many worlds together in such a unique and unique way that actually worked. But at this point, in the absence of, I think I'll take what I can get, and I think, like you said, one of the long-standing pillars of Lucha Underground, certainly one of the best, is the guy that played Dario Cueto. I mean, the guy, damn it, he was really, aside from the wrestlers, he was one of the key stars of the brand, and then with storylines, coming back and playing his great uncle or something.
I think it was his father.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I mean, the guy's got chops, so I feel like anything they do with him, he'll make it work. The guy's a great actor. And anything in the realm of Lucha Underground, like I said, I'll take. So whether it's a brand or like just like an ongoing storyline, I'll be interested in seeing what they do with it. I'm just kind of cool to see the guy still in wrestling, because if I was him, I'd be like, I'm surprised nobody like picked him up. Because like I said, he does come off like a really good actor, and he'd be great on some of these shows. Like I know they got these shows where it's like stars like a Latin drug queen pin or something. I forgot what's the name of the
show. Queen of the Underground or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I feel like he'd make a good villain or something on one of those shows. But yeah, it's just cool to see him. See, when you tweeted me that, I was like, Hubble, what? So yeah, man, we can't get the full enchilada back, man. At least we can get a piece,
I like that. The full enchilada. I actually had Chipotle for lunch, so like that's kind of rather fitting.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to it. They're on a break for a few months. I think they're coming back in June, maybe late June, maybe early July. They're going to be in. What's that?
Come on, MLW.
Yes. Okay. They're going to be in Philly, I think, for their relaunch, or not their relaunch, but their next season. And I think the main event is going to be Hammerstone versus Fatu for the MLW Heavyweight Title. So if that's where they're going, because like again, I'm not entirely sure. Like that'd be a huge show because they're going to do more with the Azteca Underground stuff. Dario Cueto, maybe it's a title for title because Hammerstone's also the openweight champion. Like that'd be huge. Plus, Myron Reed regained the middleweight championship as well recently, redefeating Leo Rush. So we'll see what happens there. Next up, we have Sammy Guevara. What did he do this time? Sammy's a giant jagoff. It's just let's just be honest.
So small, yeah.
Right? Well, I mean, we're not exactly bastions of height either. So He went on a show. What show? He went on Steve Mullenhausen of DAZN did an interview with him. And when asked about the issues with Impact, he said it was misrepresentative of the situation, saying, quote, I think it got blown way out of proportion. Basically, some stuff was presented to me. I didn't feel like it worked for me and for what Sammy Guevara is. So I declined that. Then they declined to want to use me or whatnot. So that's totally fine. It was amicable. He needs to learn what amicable is. Almost of the just us agreeing like, okay, this is business. Maybe we'll work something out in the future. Then all of a sudden it wound up in the dirt sheets and it blew up. I wish it could have stayed close to the vest. I felt like it wasn't necessary for any of this to become public knowledge because it was done behind closed doors. So why are we opening the doors for everyone to see? But it is what it is. You can't change what we can't change. I wish Impact nothing but the best. I've said that many times. However, it's bullshit. Firstly, if I go, hey, Marcus, I need you to do this thing. And you're like, nah, I don't want to do that thing, but I'll do this thing. I'm not going to be like, yeah, sure, you're totally the one in charge because I'm the one with the projects that need to be done. You're the one who has what? No. So that's not amicable. You told me you don't want to do the job I'm hiring you for. So I'm not going to hire you. That's not amicable. That is the furthest thing from amicable. Secondly, holy fuck, the ego. It worked. So what did it say? I didn't feel like it worked for me and for what Sammy Guevara is. What's Sammy Guevara? Who's Sammy Guevara? You're the dude who said he wants to. What was it? What did he say he wanted to do to Sasha Banks? Sexually assault her? Force himself on her, something like that.
Pretty much, yep.
We're gonna.
It's like, no, I'm gonna get this exact little.
Yes.
It's like I'm gonna exact quote this little troll.
I don't want to misrepresent the situation. So, according to the Independent, Sammy Guevara suspended for saying he wanted to rape Sasha Banks. That's who Sammy Guevara is. Now, there's an internet adage that often gets misused constantly. But it basically boils down to when someone shows you who they are, believe them. This is who Sammy Guevara is. He's a disrespectful human being. You can be like, well, it's just one instance. It's not just one instance. When when someone died in a indie league that he was a part of, he mocked them. You know, he was kicked out of an entire Texas. I think it was based in Texas indie league because of his behavior. So this isn't a new thing. He's constantly running into these situations, and there's going to be people like, well, you know, the media, once they get a hook in you, they just want to follow you until you fall. And that's not entirely true. Because if you don't get yourself into situations that need to be examined and talked about, then guess what happens? People lose interest. So if Guevara really wasn't this person, he wouldn't keep making these mistakes. You know, like, I don't hear a lot of people, you know, talking bad about Mike Trout. I don't hear people, you know, going hard after, you know, Julius Randle. And he's in New York. He's a New York Knick. That city will make up shit just to piss him off. And people love Randall. And by the way, Julius Randle, I don't know if you're following the season this year, Marcus, but like, goddamn, he's become a beast. I'm very impressed. Very impressed with that young man. But when you look at the idea of media trends and narratives, we in the media do not create the aura around you. We don't sit here and you know, create this idea of who you're going to be to the audience. We just tell people what you're doing. Sammy Guevara is a jackass. Sammy Guevara is a person who does not have any comprehensive abilities to figure out what he should or shouldn't be saying. Now, we've all been young and dumb. So I don't want to sit here and be like, well, he's fucking Hitler. No, he's not. But he's not showing that he's changing. That's the issue. He's still being hard to deal with for no reason. Who the fuck cares who Sammy Guevara is? You're a fictional character on a wrestling program. This isn't like fucking Ben Askren taking a fight with Jake Paul. No one gives a fuck if Sammy Guevara loses to fucking Trey Miguel or Josh Alexander. No one cares. But if it was a real fight and you lost, all right, fair enough. You know, if Floyd Mayweather loses to Logan Paul, I hate all three of them. I'm hoping the entire fucking ring swallows them all.
Dude, I had to watch that back footage like 5 or 6 times because I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, where's Floyd? Oh, he's the dude with the hair? Like, I had to, because I'm so used to him being, but bald and whatnot. Like, I had the hardest time watching Tama Tonga babyface, literally.
Oh, yeah, that was, but babyface Tama Tonga gave us some of the best moments ever.
So glad he's growing the beard back. But, yeah, that situation was crazy. But, yeah, I think this comes back to another thing and kind of swinging back to what we was talking about on the last show we did about Jericho. I think it's about the narrative. Obviously, nobody cares if he loses. It doesn't matter if he loses to Trey Miguel on the Impact show, but the narrative dictates again. Impact is the SmackDown to AEW being Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And why would Sammy Guevara, who is standing next to, a wrestling legend on a weekly basis, damn near and main events on every show because of the guy he's standing next to in the group and the storyline that's being dictated around and within that group, go to Impact for a non-storyline or one-on-one match in front of, in an empty arena. And that whole deal, I just think that's kind of that's what's being said without it actually being said. And I think Jericho actually went ahead and said it because, he's Jericho. But I just think that's ultimately what it is. I mean, again, it's not like he's going to come to Impact and change the whole dynamic. They don't need him. They got people like Chris Bray and everybody else in the X Division. He's not as big as he maybe thinks he is, but I think a lot of that air has to do with the fact of what he's been involved with since he's been in AEW. He got handpicked by Jericho to be in the group. So he doesn't really know what it's like to have to really go at it on his own and keep a certain level of momentum, because a lot of that momentum is carried on the back of the spreader. So, it's,
Our off-air jokes are becoming canon. Chris Jericho, the super spreader.
So it's, I think that got something to do with it. Again, he's young, but again, that's not an excuse for being, arrogant and just dumb with a lot of stuff. So, hopefully he gets it together. Like I said, I try not to get, emotionally invested in this stuff because we all know it's an opera. But I do get tired of the punching down constantly of Impact, whether it be, the micro or the macro versions of it. Mm-hmm. Whereas micro kind of coming off with Sammy Guevara and very, very much macro with the crap Jericho had to say. I'm like, dude, didn't you almost go there? Like, it's just another company. Don't sit up here and take shots because they not in front of a crowd. Like, okay, I'm like, you only say that about the crowd because they sing your damn theme song every time you come out, which is cool, but that don't make them better.
Well, it's Florida, so nothing about that state is better. It's interesting that you brought up Jericho because get the fuck out of my brain. Guevara is very close to Jericho, both in and out of the ring, both on and off screen. And he even goes on to say in this interview, I always have room to grow, especially with Chris Jericho by my side. Chris has been nothing but the best. He's helped me tremendously since I've come to AEW and putting me in the position that I'm in. I definitely think everybody has room to grow. When you think about Jericho influencing Sammy Guevara, I would not be surprised at all, even a little, if Guevara went to Jericho and said, should I do this with Impact? And Jericho said, no, you shouldn't. This would be a bad move for you. I wouldn't be surprised. Because think about someone like Guevara, who has the same name value in the mainstream as a private party would. Matt Hardy probably said, do it. It's great exposure. Jericho probably said, don't do it. So, on one hand, you get Matt Hardy and Private Party in Impact doing some fun stuff. And on the other hand, a singles version of Private Party in terms of name value, Guevara, and I wouldn't be too surprised if Jericho at some point said to him, don't do it. I wouldn't be surprised, even a little.
Yeah,
At all.
yeah. It's interesting because I actually respect the concept of having, kind of knowing where you want to stand in terms of, um, as a character within just in wrestling in general across no matter where you go. Um, and maybe that had to do with character. Maybe that had to do with he just didn't like a one-off match. He kind of wanted to maybe do a storyline, and they kind of was like, no, you could just kind of come through and do some one-offs, and he didn't want to do that. We don't know the particulars, but I'd actually take him just being like they want to do something different with my character. I thought my character was fine coming from AEW. Kind of just let the cockiness transfer and let that be that. And they wanted to change it to something different. I take that as opposed to what you're saying, because what you're saying is a far more believable narrative. Because it's like, what you gonna not take advice from Jericho? In your mind, he is the GOAT. And from where you stand and everything the guy has done has worked. So what you gonna do? Question his logic? Whereas Matt Hardy, who you damn near almost killed, it's like, which part of your brain you using this week, Matt? Like,
Whatever part still works. Thanks, Guevara. I say it all the time. You are the company you keep. It speaks volumes about you. I've always kind of rejected the notion that you can still be quote unquote a racist if you have genuine friends who aren't white or aren't black or aren't whatever you are, because you are the company you keep. If you keep people around you who are good people but don't look like you, that speaks to your character. If you hang out with Klan members, that speaks to your character. I don't have any Klan friends. I'm sorry. I'm not that guy. Guevara has friends in the industry who are notoriously self-centered, egocentric, controlling, borderline manipulative. Like, all the things people love about Chris Jericho are all the reasons why people hate Triple H. They're the same person, but one has a positive presence about him. The other one doesn't. They're the same people. Jericho talks all the time about all the times he said no to a project or used his creative control or what have you. But because he once beat up Bill Goldberg and has a good work rate, Jericho gets a pass. And this isn't the first time the wrestling industry has given guys a pass for being a shitbag. One of the biggest names that I've ever enjoyed watching is Chris Benoit. I remember, Marcus, in 2004, I was reading something and everyone's like, God, people love Benoit because, unlike guys like Brock Lesnar and Triple H who do steroids, Benoit is authentic. And I'm just sitting here, and I was, 16, 17 in 04? So I'm sitting there going, yeah, because he's not gassed to the gills. But like that with the logic. Oh, well, Benoit doesn't do steroids like Triple H does or like Scott Steiner. Yes, he does. But because he had a good work rate, the quote-unquote real fans looked the other way. They love looking the other way. Marcus, they love, all the, rules for thee, but not for me mentality. Like, Ricochet's kind of a jackass. He's not a good dude. A lot of stories about Ricochet being an asshole. Same with Will Ospreay. But we look the other way. But that's the thing. When you look at someone like Sammy Guevara, it's all the same about looking the other way. Look the other way. Always look the other way. Chris Jericho, look the other way. Oh, no. Can't expose Chris Jericho for being a giant, I'm going to make up a word, mongoloid. I don't know what it means. It might mean something. I don't know. But he's a mongoloid. Whatever that means to you, that's what he is. But because he's a work rate guy, can't talk bad about him. Because CM Punk stood up to a company who's like, hey, you got MRSA on your back. It's probably going to kill you, but you're fine. Everyone's like, well, he quit on the fans. Pass on that idea. It's very easy to hop on a train that, narratively fits what you want to believe. And just kind of going into a sports realm for my own personal experience, the Cleveland Indians, one of the most successful teams of the last decade. I just looked this up. Marcus, since like 1981 or 1986. Sorry, it was 1986. Maybe it was 81. One of those years. The Indians have never fired a general manager in the last 30-odd years. They haven't had the same one, but everyone who ends up leaving either retires due to age or gets promoted. But yet the narrative about the team is that, well, They can't sustain this. You know, they're a team that needs to spend money, but they've proven for 30 years they don't need to. They are what they are, and they can succeed with that premise.
Yeah.
But the narrative is, well, the owners are bad because they don't spend money that they don't have. But that's the thing. It's easy to fall into that narrative of, you need to spend money to win in baseball. This is my least favorite narrative in sports. And that's what we're seeing. AEW's popular. Chris Jericho's over. People love singing his songs, so how dare you insult him or think negatively about him or don't praise him every step of the way? Because the narrative doesn't fit what the fans want to believe. That's why I used to write a column called The Other Side. Because I always looked at all the other angles. But the thing is, like, this shit, man, it always comes back around. Man, I must have said this to you 1,000 times, so if you want to throw a shoe at me, let me know so I can duck. But everything fades away. Everything falls. Like every visage or vestibule or pantheon that you want to build will eventually crumble. The aura of Jericho will not sustain. Think about what's going on with Chrissy Teigen right now. People are pointing out that she sent death threats to a 16-year-old like a decade ago. But that's why she's trending. That's why she's trending.
Thanks for saving me that look up.
And like she apparently told like a 9-year-old that she was a cunt. Now listen, I try not to swear as much as I used to. I think I'm doing, but I'm still going to use that word because it's a lot of fun saying cunt.
You know, it feels right the minute you say it.
Right.
If you throw it at somebody who actually is a cunt.
But don't worry, I'll call people dicks too. Hey, that dude's being a real cock. I don't mind it. Like it's fine. Just there are more tools for the arsenal. That's all it is.
You ever call somebody a taint?
No, but I think I might. Like, dude, that dude's a real taint. Completely forgettable, and if I ever see it, I'm going to be very uncomfortable. But, like, Chrissy Teigen's getting her comeuppance because she spent the last 10 years being, you know, the quote-unquote bad bitch who's always spoke her mind and slay queen. But now her chickens are coming home to roost. And now it's not just the hardcore conservatives who are looking to take her down. It's a lot of people. And there's a reason for that, because she's been behaving in a way that's been very abrasive for a long time. And people get bored of that. Conor McGregor, same thing. Yeah. Toast to the town in 2016. 2021, people can't fucking stand him. It's going to come to Jericho, because Jericho behaves in a way that is unacceptable to behave in a public setting. That's the issue. Now you think of like someone like Denzel Washington or Tom Hanks, and the thing about them is, they don't make a lot of waves. They kind of just chill and hang out. You know, they don't have celebrity friends. Denzel Washington's famous for not having any friends in the industry. No one's coming for them any day soon because they don't behave in a way that makes you go, oh, they're actually pieces of shit, but people just want to like them.
And funny enough, if he does have friends, in the industry, we don't know.
Exactly, because he's not looking to chase the term clout. He doesn't care. He lives a very quiet life. Same with Tom Hanks. But when you become someone who puts themselves in the middle of issues, when you take a stance where you're putting yourself on the side of a situation, all you're risking is angering part of the community. So when Jericho talks shit about Impact, that ain't a good look, because a lot of your audience watch Impact. That's a great way to alienate them. And I actually just wrote about this. Star Trek Voyager had an actor by the name of Robert Beltran. He's a indigenous American, First Nationer, and I think he might be like part Hispanic. I don't know his roots, but he's non-white is my point. And he was like, you know, one of my least favorite episodes that we did with Voyager was this episode called The Killing Room. I think it's called The Killing Room, and the Killing Game. And the basic premise was these predator-like aliens are using the holodecks to kill the Voyager crew members over and over and over again, because they realize that with the hologram technology, they can just have hunts all the time and don't need to look for new people to kill. So like they're cyber killing these people, you know, for fake in these games. But he's like, you know, the episode shifted to having the Hirogen become Nazis in 1942 France, and he's like, man, if I was a German fan, I'd be like, really? I come to watch, you know, Alien Hunters, and now I got to be reminded of this shit from 50 years ago. Like, and I thought about that for a second. And I was like, dude, that makes sense. Like, there are going to be people who don't want to keep getting shit thrown back at them for things that they may not even have done. And what Beltran brought up was the idea that, German fans come to Star Trek to watch about Star Trek, not to be reminded of their atrocities. Because you can't fix the past. You can just make sure you do better. Now, Nazis are terrible. The rule of thumb is if you want to make a video game that parents are all right with, you either put in zombies or Nazis. Or, if you want to get clever, like Call of Duty did, both.
Yes, yeah.
I had a lot of fun shooting zombie Nazis. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, nobody, nobody would talk about nobody's perfect.
No.
You hope that at least people consistently try to be decent human beings, not perfect.
Just
like
do the best you can. Like, you can make mistakes, but own them.
Yeah, and hopefully, some of the people that try to make new mistakes, like thankfully we're not talking about Guevara making more lewd comments or anything like that.
Yet.
So if he gets to a point where he gets a little cocky, starts feeling or smelling himself as some generations call it, that's cool. I would just say, be careful about that because where you trying to get to and where Jericho is two different spaces. So that air of confidence and arrogance is different, and you're not going to be able to be by his side for that entire AEW run or however long he's going to be there. So, yeah, it's interesting. With that Chrissy thing, ironically enough, I can kind of see her calling a kid a cunt.
Yeah, everyone can. That's why they're pissed at her about it.
It fits. I think specifically with her, even with everything she's been through personally, and been transparent talking about, her stuff with John and everything that they've gone through over the past couple of years. I think it's just a lot of people have been waiting to take her down, specifically a lot of people who have been on the Trump side of it because she got into it with him on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people on that side have clearly been waiting for her to get a couple up into, but also people who just, they don't like a certain level of arrogance from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's understandable. Well, there's also people who can see like somebody like you who very much says what he means and means what he says and doesn't really care about repercussions because you don't do stuff for other people's approval.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get mad at you like, I don't like that he doesn't do things for other people's approval because that's how I live my life. I don't like him. He's an outlier. Screw him. So I think there's a lot of people like that too, and then they hide behind where you just have a level of just attitude about you that I just think is wrong for a human to have. I'm like, okay, all right. I kind of feel like what this really is, but I'll let you ride with that narrative because it makes you feel better.
I've always kind of believed, and I'm generally not someone who tells people how to live their life, but I do believe people should live their life in one way. Set your own personal levels of, what's appropriate for you. What is okay by your standard? Now, that's going to change from person to person. But I don't move my goalposts. My goalposts are what they are. And it allows me to look at things objectively and without emotions getting in the way. If you slap a toddler, you're a shitbag. Like, a red, blue, or green, or otherwise, if you're, beating up kids, I'm going to not like you. If you're making fun of children, I think you're a piece of shit. If you're racist to anyone, regardless of what you are and what they are, I'm going to think you're kind of a dick. Because there are just some things I don't believe is acceptable in any circumstance. So for me, I feel like looking at this, entirety, I've been very consistent with my behavior, with my views on these issues. I never was a fan of Joey Ryan because I kind of have this belief that you either escalate or de-escalate from a point of who you are. Joey Ryan was a very sexualized person from a very long time ago, and he escalated. To go on a maybe a more noteworthy side of things from the world of MMA, you think of someone like Uriah Hall. Big knockouts, big attitude, big ego. Struggled. Now, in his mid to late 30s, I think he's like 35, very, very respectful, very calm, very like, hey, there are things in my life that I wish I did differently. So he de-escalated. And I think looking at Sammy Guevara, this is someone who's going to escalate. We're sitting here joking about the idea of, well, he hasn't said anything offensive yet, or he's been quiet since then. I don't think that's going to stay the case, though. I think eventually he's going to get to a place where he's going to say something extremely offensive again. because I don't see him learning his lesson. I think he's being better at behaving well. I don't believe he's gotten better at being better. He's just hiding it better. Now, that's an opinion. I don't know this for a fact. Time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. I mean, obviously people can change. You know, we've talked about Mike Tyson numerous times on here. But there is sometimes like it's certain like two guys specifically in wrestling that I just never, ever took a liking to at all, and that's just from the minute I saw him was Joey Ryan and Michael Elgin. I respected what Elgin did in the ring because you don't see talents like that a lot. Obviously, it's far more common now because of just the stage where we're in terms of the evolution of the athlete in general. But obviously talking specifically about wrestling, but for some reason it was just I couldn't put my hand on him when I first saw him or put my finger on it. I just never really took a liking to him, and then obviously I think that was confirmed later why. Obviously that doesn't work with everybody. But I think in some ways I did the same with Ospreay. Like I very much dug him as a talent, but I never really, clicked with him in terms of like wanting to sit down and watch interviews or just hear his perspective on anything. And maybe that's a particular vibe, or a particular thing I have, but certain I guess energy you get off people sometimes, can kind of lead you to eventually what you come to know about them is the foundational core of who they are. So.
The way a person is will be demonstrated through the way a person behaves or acts. It's very easy once you realize the kind of tells that the human body portray when they are a certain way to figure out who they are and what they're about. That's why when you have sociopathic tendencies, it's so jarring because you can behave in a way that is not indicative of the way you feel. When you're upset or sad or happy or egocentric, you will have tells. You will have behavioral patterns that are obvious. If you're a narcissist, you are going to always find a way to make your faults everyone else's problem. I'm not rude. You're just too sensitive. I'm not mean. You just can't take a joke. That's a narcissist. Flat out. You can't take responsibility for your own actions. Now, none of this is to say that this is what Sammy Guevara or Chris Jericho is. I'm just saying that this is human behavior. You can tell who someone is through how they behave. And I think when you look at someone like Elgin or Joey Ryan, I think, Marcus, maybe latently, I think you are identifying negative traits in them because what's the opposite of latently? Obviously. I obviously spot these traits. Like, I never liked Elgin because I've read enough of Elgin. I've seen enough of Elgin. I've seen the way he behaves in and out of interviews. He's a bad dude. He once joked about urinating on a chick without her consent and then lied about it. So, like, he's a bad dude. So, like, you vibing, I believe that 100%. Vibe, human behavior, whatever you want to call it, we are barely better than animals with how we perceive the reality around us. We have the same, like, lizard brain that tells us, hey, man, this is a bad situation. Don't go in there. Hey, man, that dude or chick, she's bad news. Don't hang out with them. Like, we hear that in our heads, and we don't always respond to it. We think that we're just being paranoid, but we're not. We have that ability within us, just like a dog or a squirrel or whatever does, to identify a situation as dangerous or not dangerous without really realizing why. So I completely believe, Marcus, that you can, watch someone and feel their essence, if you will, because we are still just mammals.
Yeah.
The only difference between us and like a fucking dolphin is opposable thumbs.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously the whole talking thing, but yeah.
Well, dolphins talk. They just don't speak in English. They click.
This is true. I mean, the other animals obviously have their own forms of communication and stuff, and like when we want to mate, it's obviously a completely different thing than when doing a ceremonial dance or whatever, like bees and other stuff do. But
Wait, I'm not supposed to be dancing outside of a chick's window if I want to sleep with her? Oh, God, that explains so many things.
You're not supposed to do the whole thing from Superman Returns where you X-ray vision their life and just stand there.
I had it all set up. I got peacock feathers. I got like a headdress. I was gonna hop on one leg and try to make it rain. Like, man.
Or You pull that scene from the Clumps with the mariachi.
I don't think I've ever seen The Clumps. That's Eddie Murphy, right?
Yeah, the sequel to Another Professor. Yeah.
That's what I
Wow.
thought. Yeah, I've actually never seen Nutty Professor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like some movies, man, I just never fell into.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of all the things we've ever talked about, this shocks me.
And like that was like right before Eddie Murphy committed career suicide by doing Pluto Nash, which I did see.
Of course.
Well, I had Rosario Dawson in it. I can't not, Marcus. You know me. Pretty girls make me do dumb things.
Hey, where's the gavel? Sustained. Sustained. Well, in the Clubs, obviously his love interest has gone. Well, in the first one it was Jada Pinkett. 90s Jada Pinkett.
Mhm.
And then the second one
Before
it
her
was
attachment issues or entanglement issues.
hilarious. And then the second one is the young Janet Jackson. So
Oh.
yeah.
You know, young Janet Jackson does not get the credit she deserves of being I want to put this, I don't want to say like sex icon because that just seems degrading, but like she's not spoken in the same like, God, like what a beauty. Because man, like probably even now, I haven't seen what she looks like now, but probably even now she looks good.
It's funny because who it was, Nia Long was trending the other day. Like it was like it's Nia Long Appreciation Day. I'm like, you got to be specific.
Sir,
of
Nia Long
time.
Appreciation Day is 365 days long. What are you talking about?
Which I'm pretty sure is a tweet I saw. Like, you know how fine you got to be for it to just people to randomly just decide like we need to appreciate just how fine such and such has been. Like, oh man.
So like I don't do like the fetishization of races. Like I don't get that. That's not my jam. And yes, I believe some kinks should be shamed. I think this world needs a lot more shame in it because it's going to keep us from doing dumb shit. But I don't have an issue with any kind of girl. Like it doesn't matter what race you are. If you sexy, I'm gonna find you sexy. I say this to lead into another attractive black woman who I just watched an entire season's worth of shows of, and that's Megan Good, who is making goddamn great. Let me tell you what. She was in a show called Californication for an entire season. Ironically enough, alongside, is it Raza or RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan? I don't always know how to pronounce that name.
Yeah,
RZA. Yeah, RZA. Yeah. He was playing an actor / rapper who's trying to do a show called, what was it? It wasn't Beverly Hills Cop. That was always the joke. It was Santa Monica Cop. He wanted to do a movie called Santa Monica Cop. And he'd always be like, yeah, remember that Eddie Murphy movie, Beverly? I want to do that, but in Santa Monica. And everyone's like, so you want to remake Beverly Hills Cop? He goes, no. It's different because it's in Santa Monica. And it was the running gag of the other season. But like his kind of girlfriend / protege was Megan Good. Man, I watched Cousin Skeeter so many times as a kid.
Megan Good, man.
Megan great.
Forever, man. Forever.
Like, those lips, those eyes, that smile. Ooh.
Because she's in Biker Boys and just numerous other things that I, love her. Sanaa Lathan, Regina King's another one. Mm-hmm. Nia Long. There's all these women we've watched. Kyla Pratt's another one.
All right, so all the ones you named, yes, absolutely. But they were all like in their early 20s when we met them, right? Like Nia Long was Will Smith's girlfriend in seasons 5, 6, and 7 of Fresh Prince. So she was like 22.
Now, was that before or after Friday?
Before. I think the movie Friday, I think came out in 94.
Dude, speaking of Fresh Prince, dude, they had nothing but baddies on it. They had Tisha Campbell when she was hot. Pam Grier was on there as a mom. You remember that episode? I do. Jesus Christ. Tyra Banks when she was, man, come on, man. The lineage of fine women on that show.
Mwah.
Hillary was another one.
Hillary, will you? Or no. What was it? Was it will you marry and then he slaps, or was it will you and then he slaps?
Yeah, exactly. There it is. And how could you leave out Tatiana Ali? Like, just
don't ever leave out Tatiana Ali. She was one of my many crushes as a child.
Like, yo, man.
So, well, what were we talking about?
Oh yes, you was talking about what? Yeah, you kicked it off with what? Megan Good.
Yeah, Shameless. Watch it. It's a decent
Yeah.
show. You might enjoy it. Megan Good's fantastic in that, but she's fantastic in everything. Just her and Cousin Skeeter, man. Like, I just love the way she would always like look at a Skeeter or who was the guy who was in that? Because I think he went on to play in what was it, Grey's Anatomy? What was his name? I'm going to Google this now because now I need to know. Cousin Skeeter. Robert Reichard, I think is how you pronounce it. I think he was in. Was he in Grey's Anatomy? Was that what it was? 101 actor. Oh, who am I thinking of? He was in Empire. He was in iZombie. Lucifer.
Who talking about? What actor is it? Trying to see what actor you talking about. Because obviously I've watched both of those shows.
He looks like Robert Reichard, but he has blue eyes, like piercing blue eyes. Jesse Williams.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, him, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, that's who I got confused with. He was in
Yeah.
something though as a kid too. I'm almost positive. He was in the Cabins in the Woods, Band-Aid. Hang on. The Sister to the Traveling Pants 2. I guess he's more recent than I thought he was. You learn something every day. Anyway, so yeah, Tatiana Ali. Mwah. Kyla Pratt. That's what it was. I remember.
Yeah.
So like we met all these girls when they were like full grown women, but Kyla Pratt grew up with us.
Yeah, man. Because we met her. Cause wasn't she in? I'm trying to see who was the kids because there was a couple. Worms ice cream truck. I'm trying to see was she in that? Definitely know I met her in Love and Basketball.
She was in Dr. Doolittle. She was the youngest child. I haven't seen that movie in a while. Was there more than one kid?
Yeah. You know what? Another fine one. She's not. I mean, I think she peaked and then she's in another phase now. But Raven Simone was another baddie. She was the other kid.
Oh, that's right.
Definitely a baby in that.
Kyla Pratt was in the Babysitters Club, but I never saw that. Love and Basketball. More Than Puppy Love. She was in Fat Albert. I remember her, though, because she was the voice of Penny Proud in the Proud Family, if I remember correctly.
Yes, which is coming back. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, man. They're doing bringing it back with the same cast and all that. And obviously they're going to be older. Everybody's going to be different phases now, but they're bringing that back.
It's still going to be animated, right?
Oh, yeah. They're not making that. Please don't ruin it with live action. It's going to be animated.
And they're still going to bring back, who was the dad in that? Because he was the dude who beat up Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura 2. What was his name?
Oh, you talking about Tomlinson. David
Tommy Davidson.
Yeah, Tommy. I was going to say Tommy Lee Davis. I know. No.
Tommy Lee, the Black Tommy Lee.
No. By the way, shout out to Sebastian Stan. That was a bang on thing.
Oh yeah. I might actually watch that. That looks interesting. I didn't know the Proud Family was coming back. That's interesting. I also remember her from Sister because I watched every episode of that season. Apparently, it says that Kyla Pratt was also in Moesha, another show that I watched a bit of. Maybe the first 3-4 seasons, I think. I don't remember her in that. And again, I don't remember much of Moesha at all. That was when TV stations were like really competent with like, hey, we don't need a show with good writing. We got a star. LL Cool J, Moesha. What was the was it? Everyone. What was it?
All of us. Come on.
No. I'm trying to think of. I can't remember. Everyone Loves Ray. I think it was called. Like we're just gonna go get Ray Romano, and put him in a show. What's it about? Who cares? That's what they did back then. They didn't need a good fucking show. They're like, oh, we'll just put them in there and see what happens. But Moesha, I remember doing, they did some stuff with dementia at the time, which I thought was, I didn't understand as a kid, but now as an adult, I'm like, oh my God. That show tackled some shit that even Boy Meets World didn't tackle. They tackled everything, including what happens on the other side of the camera.
Exactly. We freaking grew up basically with Topanga, man.
Topanga. And then, of course, there was, why can't I remember her name? Angela. There it is. Bam.
Angela. And then we watched the girl go from a sexy, neighbor trying to fit into the friend group to obviously she's doing other things now in her career.
Blacked. Maitland Ward, what have you done? More like, who have you done? Badooch. That's a great segue, because let's talk about some adult magazines. So Chelsea Green wants to do Playboy, and I'm sitting here going, I'm going to skip that issue.
Hot mess Van Ass? No, we good.
So she's quoted by, she talked to the Metro, whatever that is. And she says, I have a bucket list of things I want to do. Definitely I want to be killed in a horror movie.
Okay.
Right? I'm just sitting here like, man.
That was random. I'm so glad never to make it about race, but I'm so glad she's not a black chick saying that.
Quote, I've always wanted that, to be killed in a horror movie for some reason. I always found it so hilarious where you see the girl running and they always trip and fall and then they get killed. It's just how it works. So I want to be that girl. Right now, I'm trying to make contacts in Playboy to hopefully do that. No one told her that no one reads Playboy anymore. Like, I don't know who the Playmate of the Month is. I don't know who the Playmate cover girl is. I don't think she does either because she's still talking about Playboy.
Yeah, man. I mean, Hugh's gone. I mean, we are living in the era of OnlyFans.
Yeah.
That you don't really do, obviously the Playboy has always had a prestige about it. Even, back in the day, a lot of people obviously used to read it for the articles and whatnot. But,
sure.
even
sure.
for a long time, yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're all readers. We're all readers.
I mean, I got the Christy Hemme issue because I was super interested in that commentary on globalization of the global current. Fuck off. No, I was looking to see her bare chest.
Oh, come on, man. Christy Hemme, Candace Michelle, Maria Kanellis, who just...
Tracy Brooks did a digital version of it.
Oh, yeah, she did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
I've never seen them, though.
Yeah, R.I.P. to Ashley Mazzaro, man. She also was in there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean that's weird. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. It's weird because obviously that's no longer a thing now. Because that's people would throw that into the diva era, and that's obviously would get a whole movement. I feel like if that happened now, but that's other women. We'd almost probably rather see take that route, but in terms of like this Playboy in general, like didn't they go online for a while too?
Yeah, they stopped doing printed issues, but then they're like, that's a bad idea. They did 2 issues for 2012. Like I just went to their website now because I'm curious. Yeah. And it's just 2 kind of throwbacky kind of articles or like covers, like the idea of the centerfold is gone. Like 2019 had 4 issues that were published. 2018 had a few cover girls, I guess, but they only had 6 issues that were published. And I don't know who any of these women are. Like there used to be a time when you were a Playboy cover girl, like people knew who you were, like even in the mainstream zeitgeist. So, we're far from that era, and it's kind of funny that not Lacey Green. I don't even remember her name now. Chelsea Green. There it is.
Chelsea Green.
It's funny to me to see her like, yeah, I want to do that when no one really cares. Like that's the thing anymore.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, what can Playboy do against Instagram at this point?
Right? Like, what can Playboy do against Pornhub or OnlyFans or even Twitter?
Most of those girls, yeah, exactly, yeah, because that's a whole nother thing. Because again, if you've seen them on Instagram, more than likely they have a booking email, which kind of got slowed down because of the COVID. But most of those girls will have a OnlyFans, and that's the nudes or outright sex.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Playboy was that thing of getting close to that line without, I guess crossing it because it has such prestige to it. Like, I was surprised when Fancy from the Jamie Foxx show, Garcelle Beauvais did it, but she did a very classy spread, and obviously I was very thankful. But
Not that you've
again,
ever seen it.
exactly, of course not. Even though I wear glasses, I've never seen. But yeah, it just had this level of prestige, but it's a product of a bygone era now. I get it, but I like how would that even go now? That's because a lot of people be like, "We want to see you nude. We just wait on your stuff to leak or something." The way the internet is set up now, which is horrific because it's actually a crime in certain states. But yeah,
And we should also preface it sometimes that it's quote unquote leaked. Like, no one believes Kim Kardashian didn't leak that sex tape herself. No one believes that she didn't do it herself. So like, yeah. And like, listen, I'm not a big fan of like the whole like sex work is real work. That if that's your vibe, you go vibe with it. If Chelsea Green wants to get nude, that's fine. You do you. I just find it hilarious that she's going after a dead brand. Playboy was not able to evolve. I would not be surprised if in the next 10 years Playboy as a brand is gone. That Playboy money doesn't carry the same weight it used to. Now, maybe one day it can again. Who knows? Things ebb and flow. But Chelsea Green wanting to be in Playboy is hilarious. Like, what does she want to do? Write like an op-ed about the situation in Syria? Because that's like the only way you're going to get in there and have anyone care.
oh, I mean, right? Look at the again. It's of a bygone era. King magazine, Smooth magazine. A lot of those magazines had, obviously the more thicker women on them and all the covers, but that was the line for a lot of models and, quote unquote, I guess, influencers before they were influencers at the time without crossing into the raunchiness
Mm-hmm.
of it. But now that's the thing, and it's even more the thing because people are making so much money on these platforms. It's like, why wouldn't they? They're doing the stuff anyway. They damn near doing that stuff on IG anyway. You take it to another level and you can get enough to buy yourself a house. There's not many people not taking that deal.
Part of the issue is that there was a time when A-list celebrities would pose in their magazines. Now they're not anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's that's what you're gonna have to do if you want to bring back the brand appeal. You have to get the names everyone wants to see. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing?
And even that, so much of what we're seeing now is dictated because so many of these people have more control
Mm-hmm.
their own brands now. And a lot of people just not going back to having their pace dictated by like a corporation or, the company that's behind a magazine because it's like so many people now are like low level directors of their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Michael Bay of their own porno. So it's like they not going back. They dictate how it's put out, how it's shown, how it's shot, and then they get all the money from it. It's like why would I pose half naked when I'm getting paid, 2 years worth of most people's salaries, going full naked. I'm not even doing nothing. I'm sitting there telling people how hot I am, like which is ridiculous, but whatever.
It's a thing, man. It's a thing. So let's see. I turned 18 in 2005. My Playboy cover girl would have been Jessica Canseco, the ex-wife of Jose Canseco. Sure, that seems about right.
That is
Oh,
random.
wait, no, sorry. I turned 18 in 2004. Hang on.
Wait a minute, we may have a better option.
I don't know
Hold
if we
on.
do. It's the women of the Olympics. 12 pages of spectacular nudes. Amy Akouf, a high jumper. I don't know if that's better or worse.
It's always weird with those athletic issues because it's like with those athletes, I should say, because it's like they're so in shape you can't appreciate the fact that they're naked.
Right? Like, I'm just sitting here going, how come I don't look that good naked?
I didn't even know muscles go there.
Wait, those can have more? That was also the year that Tori Wilson and Sable did their, or did one of their, I guess. I thought theirs was in 2003. I don't know. All right, Marcus, when did you turn 18? 2009?
Yeah.
So you were a June baby. Oh, why did I go to 2008? You were a June baby. Yours is. Who the hell is this? American Olivo? America Olivo?
Hell.
I've never heard of her. So good news, she is a real person.
Yay.
She was in Bitch Slap, Friday the 13th remake, Maniac, and then was cast to be in Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, the Broadway play.
Wait, what? Man, I was Broadway play. I'm like, was that a porn parody? Turn off the dog.
She was Frisbee Girl in Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. That was a big role. She was in How I Met Your Mother as Beautiful Woman. You could tell she was a great actress. Oh, she was in The Strain. I don't remember at all. Captain Kate Rogers. I don't remember this one at all. We got to rewatch. I got to rewatch The Strain, man. That was a good show. Currently. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to speak over you. What's up?
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say it was funny talking about show we need to go back and watch because I think what that was last month was Star Trek Day or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they got the shows, Lower Decks, and all the stuff coming back. I'm sitting back there like, man, this Star Trek stuff, Star Wars stuff is cute, but I'm like, when the freak is the Oval coming back? And I'm like, you know what? I need to go back and watch it. The Orville. I mean, the Oval, not the freaking Tyler Perry. No, the Orville.
Medea in space.
Any day now. You know he got a Medea series coming about like the backstory of Medea, right?
Is it like going to be like a fictionalized drama of how he created Medea?
No, he's basically gonna do a show about young Medea.
Oh my god, who's going to play Medea? Is it going to be another dude?
I don't know. I think he's gonna have I think he may have an actual female play it. I don't know. But that's hilarious.
That'll be interesting. What's it going to be on? Do you know?
Probably BET or BET Plus, because he got a whole deal with them.
Is BET Plus like their streaming service?
Yeah.
I fucking hate. I hate. Oh my god! Talk about unoriginality. I have a streaming service. What is it? It's this plus. Because everyone wants to follow Disney. Because you're unoriginal. Like fucking.
Like no, but we don't. No, but it's not the plus sign with us. It's plus spelled out. Like McDonald's and McDowell's.
These are golden. Wait, no, it wasn't arches. What was it? It was golden.
They have the golden arches. We have the golden arcs.
Oh, that's right. Arcs. That's the difference. Oh, there is no difference. There is no difference, which is the joke. All right, Marcus, real fast. We got 3 more things to talk about, but we'll speed it up because we've been on the air for an hour plus. Moose, his contract is expiring in June, and he says that his goal is to win the Impact World title before it's up. Question, is this an angle, in your opinion, or do you think that Moose may actually leave the company?
I would like to think he wouldn't, because I don't think he would have had the level of build and growth and just the evolution we've seen with him in another place. Now obviously that's me projecting on my part, but I just feel like Impact's done really good by him.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically enough, it's funny you say that because we just saw Jordan Grace resign, and she just became Impact Knockout Tag Team Champion. So, it's not like we haven't seen incentive before in this company with certain people coming in and then instantly becoming champions. I think it will behoove them to, and we talked about it, we feel like the natural progression of this whole storyline around Omega in general is leading to All Roads Moose.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would also behoove them to, because like I said, I think he's ready for that spot. You know, everything with this guy's clicking. His interactions with Don Callis are hilarious because he's not taking. I mean, he's punking everybody at this point. Um, but I think it behooves them to be like, yeah, no man, it's your time. I would, I think Moose at this point, them losing Moose, I think it actually be a hit to him. Because it's not a lot of guys who are at where he's at, and you can actually track it over a period of time in the same company, and hit key points into where that those key points was like, okay, this guy's at a completely different level from here than he was there, and so on and so forth. So, um, it could be an angle. You never know. I think he'd be a dumb businessman not to be like, hey man, contracts getting up. Sure, it'd be nice to get that title. I mean, it's not show friends, it's show business. But I think that's where it's going anyway. But hopefully all things kind of come together with that.
I hope so. I do. Because he's really developed himself into something special in that company, and it would really suck to see him bounce,
Yeah.
So let's move on. We got WWE Backlash this weekend. Fun.
WrestleMania Backlash.
Oh, sorry, that's dumb. That's the dumbest thing I've heard in some goddamn time. And I just talked about a woman who wants to be in a dead nudie magazine brand. So like, it's fucking dumb. Here's the matches. They all sound like they're going to be terrible, except for maybe Rey and Cesaro. We got Damian Priest versus Miz, Rey and Cesaro. Rey and Dominic taking on the Dirty Dogs. Boy, they finally got a name. That tells you one thing, Marcus. They're breaking up. We get a triple threat for the title that no one wants to see in Rhea Ripley, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair. We have another triple threat for the title that no one wants to see in Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman, plus Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Any of these matches excite you, Marcus?
Yeah, the final that I'm gonna go back and watch of the second day of New Japan's Wrestling Dontaku.
Fair enough.
Come on, man.
Fair enough. Which match in Wrestling Dontaku Day 2 are you looking forward to?
Oh, the final. Even though it's obviously it has what did you call it? A cock in it, and Will Ospreay. But he's facing my favorite Japanese wrestler, Shingo Takagi, and I heard they had a classic. So, like I said, I could put the douchebaggery aside to let the match do what the match does.
Right, like if you're a douchebag, I can accept your presence, right? Like LeBron's kind of a douchebag, but like whatever. We've all been a little bit of a douchebag, but there's a difference between being a douchebag and being an asshole, right? That's like running people over with your car. Like that's like being super fucking terrible. So Will Ospreay's a douchebag. Joey Ryan, he's fucking awful. I'm not gonna put them in the same category.
Yeah.
So, but I agree with you. He's kind of a douche. He's a douche plus, if you will. And that leads us to our last topic, Under Siege. And I just want to sing Queen because Under Pressure. So, Under Siege, I don't know when it is. I don't think it's this weekend.
No.
Let me see. It is the 15th. It is this weekend.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that works out well because I was like, let's just talk about it because I think we need more things to talk about. And then it turns out that no, it's actually pertinent to this conversation.
Even something better to watch than that other show.
Yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to say there's 6 matches, but they only list 5. So we'll just talk about the 5 they've listed. There's the 6-way number 1 contenders match for Kenny Omega. I think the winner will take him on at... What's the next one? I forget what the next promotion, the next event is. This is on... fucking Christ. I set this up. This show's on Impact Plus.
Yeah. Because it's this for... Because Slammiversary was next month or July?
I want to say it's July. Let's see. Slammiversary 2021. Mm-hmm. It is July 2021. There's an event either at the end. Yeah, there's an event in June. I forget what it's called. I'm on the website. I should just look up events. It's right there. It's a click away, Marcus. It's just a fucking click away. Against all odds.
We've come a long way with that website.
Yes, we have, and it's another Impact Plus event. So I don't know which one's going to feature Kenny Omega defending the belt, because I would hope that, like, if this is the best they got for the headliners, okay, it's not terrible in terms of talent, but we're all hoping that the Moose Challenger, not the Moose Challenger, the Omega Challenger isn't decided in a match with some I don't want to say lower level guys, but some less than name value guys, because it kind of gives away who's going to win. But this 6-way, and I know it's for the title, but it doesn't say. Let's see. New Impact will find out who the first challenger will be at Under Siege, the field, victorious with a huge target on the back. So yeah, it doesn't say. But anyway, it's Chris Sabin, Chris Bay, Sammy Callahan, whatever Zack Ryder's going by, Matt Cardona, Trey Miguel, and Moose. Winner gets Kenny.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm like, when did they decide is Edwards out? Because
no, Edwards is in another match on the card.
It's interesting how they did that, because the match they were supposed to have went to a double DQ, I thought. So I was like, okay, how did they just decide? They must have just kind of split it because Edwards, I guess, intent was elsewhere. But yeah, Callahan works. Obviously, he's been more strident than anybody to get that title back, and he's been going after. So yeah, I mean that should be an interesting match.
Then we have. Do you have a prediction on who you want to win, or who do you want to win?
That, because you said that's a shot for Against All Odds, not Slammiversary, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
Could be.
Yeah. I'm pulling for the Moose Man in that. Because like I said, I don't know everything that's going down at Against All Odds on the road, but I feel like this will be the shot for Slam. Or should be anyway.
So Wrestling Inc. says that it's for a shot at the champion at a later date.
Works fine. I'm gonna pull for the Moose Man.
I know he's not gonna win it, so I'm already telegraphing this prediction. But I would love to see Chris Sabin get another shot. That dude's title run was so disrespectful.
Yeah, it was crap. It was. Come on, and it wasn't him. It was just a bad position. It was not good.
Like, he was always a guy that you could do like a Shawn Michaels run with, but for whatever reason they didn't want to do it. Then we have Omega and the Good Brothers taking on Eddie Edwards and Finjuice. This is a match I'm super excited about because Eddie and Omega, yes please. I hope he tries to grab Kenny's legs and use them as a kendo stick, not realizing that it won't work because he's not a kendo stick.
It's Finjuice and who?
Eddie Edwards.
Oh, cool. Yeah, fine. Works perfect. Actually, yeah, I don't mind this. Like, so Kenny and Omega.
Yep. 6-man tag.
Kenny the kendo stick, I mean. But yeah, Eddie and Omega, yeah, that's actually wouldn't mind seeing that in a one-on-one affair, man. So
that's what I would want for, selfishly speaking, that's what I would want for Slammiversary, Eddie versus Kenny.
Yeah.
But only if Eddie like really gets into shape, because he's not the same Eddie he was when he was fighting Lashley. So I'd like to see him put a little more effort into it.
Yeah, I can just see you as his trainer, like, you're taking back your way. It's holding you back. You become a fatty. Oh.
Put the chicken on the fire. Oh. You can't have any carbohydrates. You're on a diet.
You need to get in shape for this match.
And technically it's not going on a diet, it's changing your diet, because anything you eat is your diet.
Yeah.
Just pointing that out. Like I hate when people use words inappropriate, or not inappropriate, incorrectly. A diet's not a specific thing, it's just something you do. It's like a routine. You don't do a routine or change a routine, or you do change a routine. That's kind of the point. Anyway, Knockout Tag Team title matches, Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering. Do we have a name for these? What are we going to call them? Bad bitches? No. I feel like that's been used before.
The Thicks. Okay.
The
Oh no.
the boobs and brawn. No. The 5-head squat. Nope.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of like a weightlifting term. Oh, I'm blanking on everything. Ooh, the squat racks.
Squat racks, hilarious.
Well, there's the jerking clean, but I don't think that's gonna be appropriate.
Did she have a name with Jazz?
No, I don't think so.
Braun before beauty, or age before brawn? No. Um,
At least with Jazz, you could have done like black and blonde. That would have been dope.
yeah.
Although I don't think she's blonde. You could have called them blacked.
Hello. Somebody don't show this to Gresham.
To be fair, I think you would get a kick out of it. I feel like John Gresham is a really good dude. John Gresham versus Bryan Danielson. That could happen. Whew. I just had
Oh man, for that pure title, look man, that's some that's bringing some history full circle right there, man.
Ooh, Marcus, I just tingled. Like I don't get tingled over wrestling matches anymore because like everyone's done everything, but like damn, I got tingled for that.
Ring of Honor thing is one of my favorite themes.
Mm-hmm.
This may be the only person to come back and could choke out Roosh. Roosh's whole narrative as a champion was like, oh, he's gonna win. He's beating everybody. But to have Joe come back, just to see Joe come back and choke somebody out with them eyes rolling back in his head, that's come on, man.
So many opportunities. Oh, so many opportunities. Anyway, so brunette squared. I got nothing. Taking on Fire and Flavor. Tag titles are on the line. I mean, they could put them back on Fire and Flavor this quickly. Like, there is no recipe for Impact in terms of like how they do things.
Yeah.
But I would like to see Grace and Ellering run with the belts just, a while. Like, I like Fire and Flavor, but I've never like Kira Hogan's gotten really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Kira Hogan's going to be on the level of a Jordan Grace or Rachel Ellering. Like she is what she is. I think she's peaked. Like this is the final form of her.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's been cool to see her evolution too, because she came in like that the fiery good girl, and we've seen a cool evolution with her too. And Tasha Steelz, I think, has come in and been a perfect compliment for her. Done such a great 180 from what we saw her doing in NWA.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think they're a perfect pair. And what's great about them is they fit so perfectly, and they also charismatic together. They almost don't need titles. It was cool to see them win and have that torch pass the way that they did. I thought they did a great job. But like you said, I think, Ellering and obviously Grace are the ones that carry it. And it'd be cool. And as much as I love Fire and Flavor, they're my girls, but to see Grace, this would be the perfect time to have Grace and Ellering do the double stretch mufflers.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Rachel Ellering and Jordan Grace.
Yeah, same.
We got W. Morrissey, big WM. Why was that not? That's a. I mean, you're already going by Big XL or Big Cass, like whatever, or Big Morrissey. That ain't bad. He's taking on Willie Mack. I'm going with Big Morrissey because for some reason Willie Mack is always that guy.
Yeah, man. We like the Mac.
Mm-hmm. Good dude.
Doesn't like the Mac, but his narrative's kind of been set for a while in the company now. He was a building block in Moose's continued journey, man, with him, basically damn near trying to kill him. So this is kind of a thing. It's funny because he acknowledged that on the recent Impact. He's like, I don't know why every time somebody come in this company trying to prove a point, they come after my ass, but he gonna get this work. So it'll be cool. I hope they let them guys bang. I hope he kind of push Morrissey, past his limit. Instead of, I never want to see the Mac get, dogged out treated like some type of, jobbed out, if you will, because we've seen this man go to war in that temple in Lucha Underground. So, and that was against who he went to war with, Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys in Lucha Underground. So, I just want to see him have a good match with Morrissey. I wish the Mac kind of squeak out with a win because I feel like he hasn't had a win solo in a while.
Hmm.
But I think I think the bet man's money got to go to Morrissey here, man. He looks great, he's performing great. So, and it's just good to see him up, So,
My hope is that eventually they point Willie Mack in a different direction than being the welcomer.
yeah,
But I also have to think, is he in this role because there's a concern? Um, Generally speaking, when some guys aren't pushed, it's because of a physical concern, it's because of a contractual concern, it's because of a behavioral concern. And I don't think any of that is technically the case. But the one thing I remember about Mac is there were issues with his physical when he was trying to sign with the WWE. So I wonder if that maybe is a lingering concern for Impact. Because this dude is a, I don't want to go modern day Dusty Rhodes, because like that's too much pressure, right? Like you don't put that on someone. But he is in a lot of ways that kind of guy, and if you put a little bit of marketing behind him, a little bit of effort behind him, you can turn him into that modern day Dusty. And I don't know why they don't. And it's not like the WWE where it's like, well, it's because he's black. I mean, you can make that argument with WWE because, yeah, that's fair. That's what they do. Impact's always promoted and pushed black talent and Hispanic talent and old talent. Unless your name is Okada. So like, I don't know why Mac is not being promoted to the forefront or what the hang up is, but I would really like to see something change in this regard, because I think they're kind of wasting him. And that sucks. Didn't he win the X Division title at one point?
I want to say he did, but
The fact that we had to ask shows you exactly how memorable it was.
That's the point, and I know because I know we winding up, but real quick, do you think? Because we've seen this before. Do you think a heel turn is it? Like that change you talking about?
I think
Like
Mac. I think Mac has that JYD attitude, like that JYD personality. I don't think he ever will work as a heel. I think Mac is too likable. Like that's why you never saw Ricky Steamboat turn heel. That's why no Sting heel turn ever really stuck. And think about it, like the only time Sting ever turned heel was like with the Main Event Mafia, which he was reluctant about, and against fucking Hulk Hogan, which everyone praised because fuck Hulk Hogan. I'm just thinking about Sheiky Baby now. So like I don't know. I think for Willie Mack, it's not so much changing. It's just about putting some effort behind the promotion. Really, I think that's what it comes down to. Because like I think like give him like a decent look, like maybe give him like a different type of attire, like I like the one thing like that I think about between Dusty and Mac that I think could work is a subtle change. Mac always wears baggy shirts, but Dusty always wore real tight shirts, and Dusty was bigger than Willie. So I think maybe change that up, and maybe give him like a head thing to work with, like a hat or a mask or some type of trappings, if you will. And I think maybe you can generate a little bit of change physically with his appearance in terms of like how you package him, and that might be enough to get people latched on. It's a theory at best. It's not a proven commodity. Like I don't know, like maybe seeing him do like a mohawk, like a full on mohawk, might be cool. But Willie Mack likes his fro, and he likes his fro pick. So, like, I don't know. Like, would he be down for that? I don't know. Maybe not. It's always possible, though.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what else we got. Close that. Finally, Brian Myers versus Black Taurus.
Man, Taurus dog walking, please.
I just want to see him do that fucking, I don't even know what it's called, the power slam into the Samoan drop that he does. Oh, I love that.
Oh, so good.
So violent. He's so mean. He's so mean. Love it. I'm a fan of anyone who wants to beat the shit out of Brian Myers. Like, I'm all right with that.
Just do a whole storyline where he becomes the new, like, the Rosemary's Obsession, like, just takes him to hell, like, just teleports some places just to torture.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like they could be doing more with the cable. There are a lot of, obviously they got the whole. It's funny, I've really been digging the names for these Impact shows they've been doing because they, like, coincide with either places that the companies come to or going, or, like like Under Siege talking about the current whole thing with AEW, but um, yeah, just please, dog, walk him. Like have Crazy Steve around the ring messing with him, and then have Torus killing him because it's still like the way that guy moves is just nuts.
Mm-hmm. And you're not wrong. Black Taurus is one of those guys that I was very happy to discover. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, so that's the show. Anything else that you want to touch on before we call it a night?
No, that's that's about it. I'm still fun. I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, I can't believe how much Serena's husband looks like the phenomenal one.
For a second there, I'm like, why are you showing me a picture of what's his name, the Bullet Club dude, just debuted in Impact?
They're like, this fantastic. I'm like, no, damn it, he didn't see it. Then I had to send a photo, and I like, if I send him this, he's gonna go, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But see, here's why I didn't see it. Because I don't think AJ would ever date someone like Serena. Now, you can take that for whatever it's worth. That's fine. You do you. I'm just saying what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, I just threw that part in there. But I'm like, this looks spot. Like when I first saw it, I'm like, wait a minute, what is Styles doing? What the hell? Like I know that we are heavy in Georgia, but whoa.
uh, uh.
Like, Styles,
Heavy
you're
in
taking this
Georgia.
almost too serious.
That's fucking funny. We are heavy in Georgia. I didn't think we were that heavy, though. Or maybe we're too heavy? I don't know. There's a joke there somewhere. All right, so we'll be back. When will we be back? I think we'll be back Tuesday for sure, obviously. I think I have... Do I have an event? I think I have an event to cover this Thursday. I think. I don't know. If we cover Impact this week, we'll tweet about it. But right now it's kind of in limbo, so we'll let you know when we know.
Did you have to cover that Floyd thing?
No. I covered... What was Thursday? PFL. PFL is on Thursday, so I might be busy this Thursday. Because I think PFL is on Thursday for the rest of the season. I could be wrong. And then Bellator's on Friday, so...
It's just hilarious because when I watched the video, I'm like, oh, he really playing with Floyd then because obviously I don't care enough about the brothers to know which one is which until it's time to know. So I'm just like, I'm thinking...
Marcus, sure. That's why you can't tell them apart. Sure.
Damn it, this narrative is back. And then I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, it was his dumbass brother that did? I'm like, okay, all right. Because I know his brother like, why did you do that? I know his brother like, are you serious? Like, you know he could literally beat your ass.
I just love that he's like 29, 34, 106, and he still acts like a toddler. Got your hat!
Which at this point is a brand, isn't it? So it's like...
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. It probably is his brand. He doesn't seem like a guy who's smart enough to change up his image too often and do it successfully. So, oh well. All right, so we're done for the evening. We will be back next Tuesday for sure. Maybe Thursday. We'll let you know about that. We aren't doing any Ohio guys for the moment because Swisher's doing work. So maybe what we'll do, because we're trying to supplement some shows here because we only got 2 going on at the moment. Add a third. Do kind of what we're doing with Ohio guys, where we watch a show and then review it, but do it season by season. So maybe we'll do that with me and you, because we are kind of doing that with My Hero. But like 10 minutes to talk about an episode. I ain't doing that. So like we're doing it like every 4 episodes. So we're 1 down for the next episode and 3 to go.
Yeah.
But maybe in the interim, we can do because we've been talking about doing a Suns review. Maybe we do that, or maybe we do Californication or The Proud Family, or I don't know. There's a lot of shows out there.
Y'all know me and Chad could just pick anything and just go. Like it's we get the time to watch it and sit down and dissect it. We could just, most things we could pick apart and just go.
Yeah. And I think we could probably do that for like a Monday or a Sunday if that works for you. We'll have to figure out which one to go with, what day and what show and all that. But that's kind of the idea I'm running with, in the interim. So we'll see what transpires. But for all that, I think we're good. I think we're done. You can check us out at the website at realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdcorp.com. We're on Twitter at Nerdcorp. Yeah, Twitter at Nerdcorp, NERDCORP, and on Instagram at, well, whatever the fuck it is. We don't use the Nerdcorp Instagram. We're on personal Twitters. Marcus, you're on Paradox Kid on Twitter, PARADOXKID.
That's me.
You can also find him on his other podcasts, as I'm slurring my words like a jackass, at The True Penny Show on Twitter, TruePennyShow. You can go check them out as well. They cover a lot of New Japan and other wrestling stuff, so check them out. You can find me on Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, ChadNerdCorp, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut. So be sure to tune in, check us out, and follow us on all those accounts, and do whatever you're going to do. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. And as always, remember to watch more wrestling. Marcus, take us home.
Good night, meat.